Hi, my name is Mary Davis. I'm a midwife with the diabetes team.
And I'm Jackie Berry, I'm diabetes specialist nurse with the diabetes team, and I'm going to be Mary's patient today.
So we're going to show you how to set up your equipment that you've collected from the hospital for your home blood glucose monitoring. So in your kit you'll find a big box. It contains your meter, this one, a lancet device, a pack of 10 different coloured lancets. They're all the same size but they're different colours, an instruction booklet, and 2 boxes of strips, enough to cover 35 strips to cover 8 days. Okay, and then there's a bag to put it all in. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is to get your meter working, and the pots contain strips, and these strips have got little metal bits at the top, and you put those into the machine, push it all the way in, it'll light up, and then it'll ask you to set up your screen in English, and then it'll ask again for you to confirm that. If you just press OK, it'll do it. It then says setup is complete. If you take the strip out and put it back in again, same way, it'll show you a message that says apply blood, and that means that it's ready to test your machine. There is actually a second menu on this, and when I take the strip out, the machine will go to sleep. If you want to look at your results, you just hold down the OK button, and it'll bring up a different menu that says logbook, trends and setup. And if you click on OK for logbook, that's where all your results will be recorded, but we would like you to write them down on a piece of paper rather than keeping them on the machine. Okay, so that's the machine set up. It will go back to sleep in this menu, it just takes a little while to do so. Alright, the next item to get ready is the lancet device. With this, the top numbers are the depth setting, and they are based on a 3 is a good depth. If you get too much blood, turn it down. If you don't get enough, turn it up. Under the little black teardrop shape, there's 2 little bubbles of white and black plastic. If you just twist them apart and then pull, the machine will come into 2 sections. Okay, you want to put the lancet in, and you want to put it in by the square end, so you push it all the way in. It's a bit stiff because this is a new one. Okay, once it's in, it may or may not click when you put the lancet in. If it doesn't, it doesn't matter. The little bubble on the top, you need to turn, okay, and then it'll just pull straight off and stay nice and straight. Pop the lid back on because you don't want to look at the needle. That's it. Click it back into place and make sure the 2 little bits of plastic are aligned. The white shell-like button underneath is what you press for it to fire, and the needle comes out the hole at the top. Okay, so once it's set up like this, you don't need to open it again for 24 hours, and that's how long you can use the needle that's inside for, so it will need to be changed 24 hours from now. Okay, the plunger or the spring on the bottom is what gets it ready to go. Okay, so if the shell button's raised, it's ready to fire, and if it's flat like that, pull the plunger on the bottom and now it's ready to go again. Okay.
Do a blood sugar now because Mary's already shown me how to do one. I've washed my hands, as Mary said, and I've dried them well. I'm going to get the machine and I'm going to put the strip into the machine, and it's come up with apply blood. Now before I do anything else, I need to prick my finger, so I'm going to pull back and get the device ready. Aim for the sides of these 3 fingers. It's less painful than if you do the pad because you've got nerve endings, so we normally say to use these 3 fingers and to use the sides. You put the device onto your finger and then you press the button, and you'll feel that the needle has just pricked you slightly, You don't need very much blood, just need a tiny little amount, but the important thing is to dip the end of the strip into the blood, and it will then come up with no mark, fasting, before meal or after meal. Now doesn't matter which one you press, so you can just press OK. My blood sugar is 5.6. Thankfully I don't have diabetes. And then I'll record that number on the sheet of paper. To turn the machine off, I just take the strip out and it goes back to sleep. So to take the needle out, you unclip and you'll have a sharps box that you can just push the needle in.
Actually,
If at this point you haven't got a sharps bin, then we would recommend that you either use a jam jar or you can use an empty pot to put your needles in and then bring them to the hospital when you come next, and we can empty them into our sharps bin.
so there's several pieces of paper in your pack. The top one is the results sheet. This tells you when we want you to take your samples and what the results should be. So we'd like you to test your blood sugars 4 times a day, fasting or before breakfast. Usually on waking is the best time to do it, and that result should be below 5.3. So any result up to 5.2 is considered normal, 5.3 and above is raised. For the rest of the day, we want you to test 1 hour after food, and that's from the start of the meal, and those results should be below 7.5. So anything up to 7.4 is normal, 7.5 and above is considered as raised. There's a column here for comments. You don't need to keep a food diary, but just jot down if you have a high result what you think caused it. So if it was a big yellow banana, just pop down a banana, because when the doctors come to ask you the questions about your diet, you may not remember what you'd eaten when you had that high result. The next piece of paper is there's an instruction sheet, so if you want to go through that. There's also a booklet with an instruction sheet in the kit itself, and there'll also be a letter for your GP asking if you need more equipment. If you're here for blood test screening, you don't need to give the letter in until we've confirmed that you do need to continue on screening after the 5 days are up.
The contact details for the diabetes specialist nurses is on the top of this piece of paper and on the one underneath. Our email address is the preferable way of getting hold of us, so if you have any concerns about your blood sugars or you don't understand what's happening, then please do contact us.